As soccer takes center stage this summer, Comcast helps bring the experience home to America. As the exclusive Spanish-language home of the tournament in the U.S., Telemundo is set to present its most expansive coverage ever. 700 hours of programming, live on-site presence at all 104 matches. And with multi-view and real-time 4K, Xfinity will deliver the most innovative and immersive sports viewing experience for fans watching on Telemundo, Peacock, Fox, and FS1. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com.
Are all batteries the same? That's like asking if all soccer players are the same. Take Messi, the most decorated player ever. Is there any other player who has achieved that? No, just him. Now take Duracell. Is there any other battery with power boost ingredients inside? No, just Duracell. Remember, goats only trust goats because they're built different. And Messi only trusts Duracell.
Always a pleasure to bring in the outstanding Rob King, my good friend. Great to have you back.
Steve, thanks very much for having me. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, as a matter of fact. And we're going to talk baseball. And that's Ryan O'Hearn, I thought was a really good offseason pickup. Becomes only the 17th guy ever to have 10 or more RBIs in a game with 3 home runs. You're watching the performance, as he's going through this. What's running through your mind when you see something like this?
Well, I first of all, I don't want to speak out of turn for my fellow broadcasters, Michael McHenry and Kevin Young, but we're sitting. KY was over at the game for a couple of innings and then came over and joined us. I think he saw the first 2 in person and came over and saw the third. And it turned us into little kids again, Kevin's a 12-year veteran. Michael played 5 years in the league, and we've all seen a lot of things and done a lot of things as far as the game is concerned, covering it, what have you. And it just it sweeps you up in the excitement. To see that brings out the sort of little kid in you. It was really fun to see. You think about, Steve, all the Pirates over their history. They've had some great pitchers, sure, but no real Hall of Fame type of pitchers. They've had so many Hall of Fame hitters, from Honus Wagner, to Archie Vaughn and the Wayner brothers and Kiner and Stargell and Parker and Archie Vaughn. I'm forgetting guys. The list goes on. Even McCutcheon, Bonds. Nobody's ever had 10 RBIs in a game. Nobody until Ryan O'Hearn last night.
Just a remarkable performance. Now let's get to something that is a real oddity. The Pirates have been playing well. Not great, but they've been playing really well. And you would think with the record they have, Paul Skenes is having himself a pretty good season on the mound. Yet the last 9 starts he's had, the Pirates have lost, and he's been the, quote, losing pitcher in 6 of those games. Sometimes it's little things. Is there any little thing that you see with Paul Skenes or when he's out there and how the Pirates are playing that's leading to some of these problems? That is an absolute irony.
This episode is brought to you by Google Health. Stop chasing someone else's definition of health. What matters is what's healthy for you. Google Health offers a new kind of coach built with Gemini for effortless tracking, sleep insights, and holistic coaching tailored to you. Visit googlestore.com to learn more and start a new relationship with your health. Requires Google account, Google Health app, internet, and Google Health premium subscription. Features subject to change. Availability and results vary. Not intended for medical purposes. Works independently of Gemini apps. Check responses for accuracy.
Hey, it's Bill from the Bill Simmons podcast. FIFA World Cup 26 fans, listen up. Is the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26. Michelob Ultra is giving away $1 million worth of FIFA World Cup 26 tickets and prizes. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26. Michelob Ultra FIFA World Cup 26 superior access. No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus begins on December 1st, 2025. Ends on July 31st, 2026. Multiple entry periods. Visit www.MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26 for free entry deadlines, prizes, and details.
It's a great question. It's gathered around the water cooler kind of chat in Pittsburgh for sure, and probably around the rest of the league as well. He had a 5.38 ERA over those 9 starts, Steve. So yeah, there were moments where he pitched well, but I also think that Paul Skenes isn't the type of person who just wants to pitch okay, And for a lot of that stretch, he was just okay. He demands a lot more of himself. He's won a Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young in his first 2 years in the league. I'm sure he's thinking more Cy Youngs and more awards and pitching in World Series games and that sort of thing. Whether it is timing I mean, everyone said, well, maybe he's going through a dead arm period, which guys go through. It's a very normal thing. Maybe his mechanics are off. I don't know. I'm not enough of a student of pitching to know. And I think, frankly, if anybody knew, it would be fixed by now. Although anybody who's played sports knows that once you get in a bad habit, it can be hard to fix. My guess is it's just something like that, just something with his timing or whatever. I mean, he's been so good. He got so good so quickly. And, who knows? Are there scouting reports? Is he getting away with fewer things? I don't know, Steve. I really don't. I just know that he demands more of himself. I mean, you think about where they are. They're 2 games over 500. If they'd won 3 of those 9 games that he lost, that's 3 more wins. That's 3 fewer losses. You're 8 games over 500. So, I'm sure that's not sitting well with Paul. He's too much of a competitor. He's too great of a performer. I'm certainly not alarm bells going off right now. Glad to see him get that performance, and I think it would be wonderful to see him on Sunday close out this very important homestand with a strong performance and a victory against the Brewers. To bookend Braves-Brewers with victories going into the All-Star break, he could just go out to Philly and just relax and walk the red carpet and have a good time. And I think a lot of Pirates fans would breathe easier as well.
No question. I will add one part to it, and that is this. Mm-hmm. He is not helped, in my opinion, by his outfield defense. And part of it is, as I look out the Pirates, and I say this with all due respect, I feel like I'm watching 3 DHs out there play in the outfield. They can hit, which is a big upgrade from last year. There's no question about that. But they're not the best route runners. And look, when you're a strikeout pitcher, you're normally a fly ball pitcher. You need your outfield to help you.
Yeah, it has been particularly true with Paul. When Paul's been on the mound, and this is, usually when somebody of his caliber has what's gone on over those last 9 starts, almost 2 months without a victory, almost 2 months without the team winning a game in which he took the mound. That's even more astonishing.
Yes.
It's one thing to go through a stretch, but when your team's lost 9 straight, so is it the defense behind him, he's gotten, I think statistically, certainly over that stretch, maybe over the season, the worst defense in baseball behind him.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. By the same token, I'm sure that Paul Skenes also thinks of himself as, okay, guy committed an error, let me pick him up. But he just hasn't been able to do that. And again, so I just think it's a number of different things that have added up to a stretch that I hope, a couple of months or a couple of years from now, we're going to look back and say, man, remember that? That was really, really strange. Because going into it, look, the outfield defense, to your point, Steve, it undid him on opening day. On Paul, the couple balls lost in the sun and an error out in center field. And listen, if, the Paul Skenes that we've known and loved maybe gives up a run or 2 in the first, like he did last night, and all of a sudden you look up and he's gone 7 innings and allowed 2 runs, and we're thinking, mediocre start by his standards, right?
Right.
But that didn't happen on opening day because the defense got bad and he couldn't catch up. But before he went into the stretch, his ERA in the season was 1.98, which was exactly in alignment with his career ERA. So it's just a strange stretch. And I think the other thing is, the late great Bob Prince called it the hidden vigorous. When something's going the way it shouldn't be going, that means when it goes the way it is going, it should start really going well. And maybe Paul Skenes will rip off 8 or 9 wins in a row to help the Pirates get to the where they want to be and need to be in the standings.
Well, Rob, let me now flip the script on that, something really positive. Because Paul Skenes will pitch on Sunday, that means he cannot pitch in the All-Star game. But Ashcraft is going to get a chance to go. And I think that's really cool. I mean, tell us about that young man and what he's been able to accomplish that was All-Star worthy in the opening half.
I mean, he's he's so good, Steve, and so consistent. Look, he's the guy that had an injury a couple of years ago. They kind of brought him along slowly last year, pitched him out of the bullpen. I thought he would have made an outstanding closer. I loved his attitude right from the beginning. They said, you want to start? You want to relieve? He said, I just want to get the ball and go get outs. I don't care. You hand me the ball, I'll go out to the mound and go try to get outs. Great attitude, And I think the idea, and this is one of those things where, for fans that are looking at innings pitched and that sort of thing, he's thrown more innings than I think they would have envisioned, because he's been so efficient. You know, look, it's one thing to say, and there's arguments in the game. Well, what's more stressful? Is it getting up, getting down, getting yourself heated back up and going out for another inning? Is it the number of stressful innings you're pitching? Is it simply the number of pitches you're throwing in a game? Well, he has had so many non-stressful innings, so many efficient innings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think his strikeout to walk ratio is 5-1. I mean, he just attacks the strike zone, and he's got great stuff. He's got a great demeanor. And, I mean, he has settled into a shoulder-to-shoulder sort of, top of the rotation kind of guy. And, when you, particularly in a small market, but really for most teams, when you want to be good, you need guys to develop maybe beyond the expectations of others around the team that are saying, aha, this is an 80-win team. Well, okay, now we didn't expect Braxton Ashcraft. Okay, now we're going to pump him up to 85, 86 wins just on that one performance alone. You need guys like that. And Ashcraft has been just so steadily dominant. There hasn't been, almost I think it's 13 out of 17 starts he's given up 1 or 2 runs.
Right.
1 run he's given up 0. A couple others he gave up some more. But it's basically like the same thing. Are you going to get... I'm not saying he won't dazzle you and throw 7 shutout, but the fact that 13 of his 17 starts, 1 or 2 runs, hey, that's the kind of consistency a team, a manager, his teammates, the organization, the player himself, everybody craves that kind of thing. Really, really well-deserved for him to be in the All-Star game.
A pattern to me over the years with the Pirates attendance-wise is that in April and May, it's a little cooler, whatever, so it's okay. But then when school lets out, attendance really picks up.
Yeah.
What have you seen in the ballpark in the combination of school is let out and the team has played well at the same time?
Yeah. There was a real energy last night when we were finishing up the pregame show over at the ballpark. You could feel the energy. And it's been a while. I mean, look, this has always been the case, especially in Pittsburgh. I'm sure it is in other towns as well, but I know Pittsburgh. I mean, even when I was going back and doing the research on the 79 Pirates, they weren't drawing well. Everybody knew they were good. They still weren't drawing well in April and May. It's a combination of the weather. It's a combination of the kids being in school. But you could feel the energy now. This would be a great time to have a great homestand because you've got everybody's attention. Steelers camp hasn't started. There are probably people looking up and moving their head around. They just pop their head up out of the hole and hey, the World Cup's over and the golf majors are finished and hockey season is over and NBA is over and hey, look at the Pirates. Hey, they're doing pretty well. Hopefully there's more attention to it than that, but there are going to be casual fans that'll be swept up in it. And the thing is, and it's an absolute shame about Connor Griffin. But they've got guys that you want to watch play. They've got a really deep lineup. They hit the ball, which is a lot of fun, especially to casual fans. I mean, their offense is scoring something like 7 runs a game in the month of July. They're just pounding the ball. And this is without Spencer Horwitz and without O'Neal Cruz, who should hopefully be back. I'm guessing maybe right after the All-Star break, but I don't. That's just a guess. Again, I don't know that for sure. But Steve, they're a fun team to watch. They really are, and I think there's more. There's certainly upside still on the pitching side that leads me to believe that they can make a serious run for the postseason.
There are 6 teams in the American League, Rob, that are over 500. There are 4 just in the National League Central. Okay? Yeah. Right?
Crazy.
And you've got 9 in the National League, 4 of them in the Central. So, I realize that Milwaukee, you're talking being 11 and a half games back. Okay, that's fine. But the Pirates have made it before as a wild card. And they're sitting there in this wild card race right now, and they're 3 games back of the last spot. Impressive. What can the wild card race mean to a market like Pittsburgh, where now you may not be fighting for the division, but you're fighting for something?
Yeah, especially if they if they can close the gap. It's funny, we were looking at the schedules yesterday of all the wild card contenders. They've all got difficult schedules leading up to the All-Star break. They're playing the Brewers and the Yankees and a lot of top teams and Seattle, teams like that. So everybody's got it rough right now. I look at these teams, And let's forget the top two teams in the wild card right now, the Cubs and the Phillies, and just look at the teams like the Marlins and the Cardinals and the Nationals and the teams right around the Pirates. Well, I think the Pirates are a better team than those teams. I do, and I think that class will tell over the course of the season. Now, maybe teams are better than I think, and maybe teams, sometimes teams just have those magical seasons. But I would really, really be surprised, Steve, if the Pirates, barring, knock on wood, barring any more injuries, Connor Griffin's a bad enough injury as it is, barring any more injuries, and assuming that they're going to go out at the trade deadline and try to get some help for the bullpen. I think that's the area that people are looking at. There are some signs there. Dennis Santana's pitched better of late. Mason Montgomery has quietly been very solid for the team for most of the year. You got Soto back there. Some guys that got off to rough starts are bouncing back a little bit, but another arm or two wouldn't go amiss. I think that maybe they get a right-handed bat to help with their troubles against left-handed starters. I don't think they have to go crazy adding at the trade deadline to put themselves in a position in which they should be one of the front runners. Now, the problem with letting some games slip away, the bullpen has let some leads slip away, some other things have happened, and the fact that they haven't gone on a tear, the longer this goes, the more one 4-game losing streak puts you in great peril. Yes. And the more, if you can't start putting things together, you're going to need to do something heroic, like win 7 or 8 in a row yourself. They're not there yet, but they're also not in the wild card picture. So they need to start making up some ground.
All right, so, Rob, you can make a deal. Part of making a deal is what you have in your organization, your minors. But do the Pirates have anybody, how deep do the Pirates consider their minor league system to be? And B, is there any help from a guy or two that short-term can help out?
I think those guys are here for the most part. And, there are some guys at AAA, some names like Justinson Garcia, Rafael Flores, Tamar Johnson. They're prospects, but they're not having very good years. They don't, sort of imbue you with the belief they're going to, they're not. Well, let me put it this way. Forget the belief. Let's talk about reality. They're not hitting 300 and knocking the door down between Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. So there's nobody doing that on the offensive side. And pitching, they're going to get Wilbert O'Tell back, I would think, soon. He pitched 2 rehab innings last night in Altoona. He'll help the bullpen some. I think that the guys are here. When you went into the season, it was, I think, the 4th-ranked system in baseball. Well, a lot of that was Connor Griffin. Bubba Chandler was still considered a prospect. Those guys are in the major leagues right now. Esmeralda Valdez, he's in the major leagues. So you've graduated some of your top prospects. The other top prospects in the system, by and large, are a little bit further away. So you're either going to have, but again, there aren't that many guys having, of the top prospects having incredible seasons where if you needed to go outbid somebody for a particular player, again, not knowing for sure how other organizations value the guys on the Pirates, I don't know if there's enough there to do a blow-away kind of trade. But I also don't think they need to do a blow-away kind of trade. The issue you're going to run into is what you referenced earlier, 9 teams over 500. If I'm the Cincinnati Reds and I'm getting Hunter Green back, hey, I'm playing out the string to the trade deadline too to see if I can get hot. Get Chase Burns and Hunter Green and some of those guys going back-to-back starts. You could rip. There might be more teams in there. What you need is teams to fade and teams to become sellers because the price is going to be exorbitant. You're going to have to pay top dollar for a guy that you would just as soon pay middling prospects for, and then that'll be a difficult decision for the Pirates to make if it comes to that.
But you did bring up something, though, because to me, guys returning is the equivalent of making a deal without giving up anything. Zach Wheeler came back for Philadelphia. Suddenly their rotation is different, but he's a guy they got back, and they got him back in May. Getting a guy back like O'Neal Cruz, is he the kind of lift? I know defensively is, okay, Rob, it's an adventure, okay? That's a pretty good word. But, but getting his bat back in the lineup and how he runs the bases and how he does certain things, Is that the kind of lift you can have without making a deal?
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at Accenture.com/Spotify.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Absolutely. And, again, I think he was playing better outfield defense a little bit, maybe gotten a little bit unnoticed before he got hurt. But absolutely. And Spencer Horwitz, we were talking about a few weeks ago, hey, who could possibly represent the Pirates in the All-Star game? Spencer Horwitz is the name that came up. He's having a phenomenal season. That wound up being a really terrific trade for the Pirates. So both of those guys are going to help, and you'll shuffle some pieces around. So yes, they will, when you think about, hey, is this offense out over its skis? Well, you're going to average 7 runs a game forever? No, probably not. But boy, it's going to get a jolt when you bring Cruz and Horwitz back to join that lineup. I'm not worried about the hitting. I do think that it's legitimate to ask the question, why are you, I think it's 5-13 against left-handed starters? That's a problem. So you might need to go out and get a right-handed bat, where that guy would play and how you would utilize him. I don't know. Maybe it's a DH. Maybe, listen, they've been waiting on Ozuna. He's not been getting a lot of playing time. If he can be the guy, that would certainly be, like you said, like picking up a trade acquisition without having to make a trade. You're already paying him. It would be nice if he could somehow become that right-handed bat you need, because that's an issue. And I just think the bullpen. Look, they've got 6 starters with Majinski. He would have to be built back up. There's not a lot of depth behind that. That could be a little bit worrisome. Maybe there's, you talked about help. Maybe there's a Mike Clevenger who has come back from injury. I think he would have been the next guy up. And then he got hurt. So they've had some bad luck in the injury department as well. Maybe he could help. Steve, I think you're going to get a shot in the arm with some of these guys, like you said. And I just don't know as there's a huge amount of, overwhelming needs. And I don't know as there is we got to cash everything in and get a superstar type of need. Listen, right. They may decide to do that, but I don't think it's what they need to compete for the wild card all the way to the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Rob, thanks so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. Great work as always.
Steve, always a pleasure being on with you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, the great Rob King. Half hour brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia. Routes 11 and 15 at Hummels Wharf and online at sunburymotors.com and News Radio 1070 WKOK.